This beef dish looks particularly awesome. Well, I think that's all Sichuan pepper. Good morning, everyone. It's Mark Wiens with Migrationology.com. It's a beautiful morning in Lisbon. We are walking to the metro. We're gonna take the metro and then we're gonna take a tram and we are on our way to Belém. Just got off the metro at Cais do Sodre and we should be able to take the tram or train from right here. We ended up waiting at the tram stop for I think almost 45 minutes. So much for trying to get an early start. Once we got onto the tram, that took about 20 minutes, I think.
This one is the original one. The first one. The best one. But something that is imitation of this one.
Thank you.
One tart, one chocolate donut, and cappuccino and 2 coffees. Right?
Our first stop this morning is the legendary Pastéis de Belém, which is maybe one of the most well-known places in all of Portugal, or maybe in the entire world, for Portuguese egg tarts. And Portuguese egg tarts are famous the world over, from Macau to even in Thailand. Do they have it on KFC in Thailand? I think.
Yes.
They also have it at KFC in Thailand. But Portuguese egg tarts, we're about to have our first one so far in Lisbon, and a cup of coffee. They have both takeaway and sit-in, and luckily we are here early enough where we just got a table and about to sample this world-famous egg tart. Thank you.
1, 2.
Thank you.
Obrigado.
This one, cinnamon and sugar. Drop on
The Pastel de Belém has arrived. Ying and I got one, and then we also got a chocolate-filled Portuguese donut. And then I knew one coffee would not be enough, so I went ahead and ordered 2 at the same time. I better begin with the egg tart. And by the way, this place dates back to 1837. And before I take a bite, I just want to point out that flaky, crispy crust on the edges here. Looks like little layers of pastry. And then it has a slightly yellow, golden, and slightly browned top little crust on that egg tart. Oh wow. Okay. That is the best egg tart I've had. What's really awesome about that egg tart is actually the crust, the outer wrapping, which is incredibly crispy, and then it has a salty flavor to it as well, which contrasts the pudding-like egg tart in the center, which is sweet. Okay, let me follow that with a sip of coffee. Good combination. Yeah, that combination of the crispy crust with the warm, gooey, pudding-like interior is that is a pair. Bite it up. Just look how much chocolate is filled into here. You can feel the bread isn't that light because there's so much density of chocolate in the middle. Whoa. Yeah, this is like a little chocolate hamburger. The chocolate is really good. It's really rich and smooth and has a really strong chocolate flavor. Then the bread is really fluffy and soft, and then it's coated in sugar. Coffee number 2. When Ying and I came to this place, we just sat down at the nearest table we could find, which was right near the entrance. But I just went to use the restroom, and this place is huge. There are just like multiple rooms filled with tables. It can seat hundreds of people. You can actually get lost back here. This place is huge. And there are antiques around. You can smell the egg tarts and the coffee. I'm trying to find my way back to our table. but you would never know how big this place actually is from just looking at it from the outside. Well, one thing I should mention is that Ying and I just split one egg tart and also that Portuguese donut and had some coffee, but I'm not really too much into sweets. If I just have a couple bites of sweets, that's good for me. However, most people eating there, I think they were eating 2 to 5 per person. So definitely if you love sweets, you're gonna wanna eat a couple of those egg tarts when you come. We're walking past Geronimo's monastery, which I'll come back to, but I wanted to go first check out the Torre de Belém, which is the Belém Tower. Yeah, strong Meng Lei.
Behind the scene.
Behind the scenes. Oh, Ying, we need a video about behind the scenes. Belém is a section of Lisbon, and when you come to Belém, one of the top things to do is to visit the Tower of Belém, which is a fortified military tower which was built on the mouth of the Tagus River and completed in 1519. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The tower is built mostly of limestone and it is 30 meters in height, a 4-story tower. And because the spaces inside are so tight and so small, they only allow 150 people to enter at a time. So that's why it can take some time to get in. I'm making my way up the narrow spiral staircase now. 93 steps. It is a spiral stone staircase. And now at the top, some great views of the bridge and of the Tagus River. Yeah, this is nice. Tight squeeze here. Gonna get a lookout from this little lookout tower. This is an awesome place to chill. What I really liked was the architecture as well as the stonework. It's very impressive. What I didn't like were the long lines and the crowds, but that was cool to see. And now I need to find Ying. Ying decided to wait it out in this park right here because she doesn't like waiting in lines or crowds of people, so she decided to just let me go in, and she's somewhere relaxing in this park in the shade somewhere. Ying! Oh, relaxing to the max. Your shoes are off. How was it, Ying? We are now walking back towards Geronimo's monastery, which is the place we're gonna visit next. But I have to tell you guys that I'm having a little bit of a challenging time in Portugal finding restaurants to eat at. Not because there's a lack of restaurants, but because I think it has to do with the fact that we're here on the weekend, so today is a Sunday. But many of the restaurants that I had on my list that many of you recommended are all closed on Sunday. And again, this is a very impressive architectural wonder, and there's a huge crowd standing outside. The monastery was commissioned and built in the late 1400s to commemorate Vasco da Gama's route of the discovery to India, built in Manueline architectural style. And I can just imagine at the time that it was built, it must have been a showcase of the power and the influence of Portugal. We just waited in line for over an hour in the hot sun, finally got our tickets. That was a long, long wait, but we have finally gotten inside. This is the cloister area, and it is, wow, it's beautiful actually. The architecture, the stonework, the courtyard in the middle, and the garden and the fountain. It measures 55 meters by 55 meters with 2 stories, so I'm about to go up to the upper level, but the detail of the stonework is really impressive. Walking through the halls of this monastery kind of reminds me of the Taj Mahal. finished walking around the cloister, and they also have a couple of museums, and now walking over to the main entrance of the church. It is huge on the inside, and while the outside is bright and white in color, inside it has kind of dark, medieval, but Manuelian feel to it. And this entrance doorway is huge, and also the detail within this doorway is amazing. But I think the highlight for me of visiting Geronimo's monastery was that cloister area. We've decided to catch the bus back towards town and gonna have lunch at the Timeout Market. We made it to Mercado de Ribeira, which is also known as the Timeout Mercado in Lisboa. And there is a traditional market, fresh market on the right-hand side. But again, because it's Sunday, it's all closed. So we are just in the food court area. Looks like there are a lot of different food choices, and this is one place that is open on Sunday. There's a lot of variety to eat. There's a lot of kind of modern twists, I think, to food, as well as some gourmet food, as well as some international food. There's even an Asian place with pad thai and some Asian dishes. There is pizza, there's Portuguese food, but it does have a very nice feeling to it. It's modern, it's kind of on the trendy side, and I just ordered some salted cod with garbanzo beans, and they give you a buzzer, so it should buzz pretty soon, and I'll have my plate of lunch. I'm not sure if it's actually salt cod or if it's fresh cod. And then on the bottom is a puree of garbanzo beans, and I think that's olive oil surrounding it. That tastes like hummus. It's a little bit salty, and the garbanzo beans have a little bit of a sour taste to them as well. Maybe some lemon juice in there, but very, yeah, it's like a dip of garbanzo beans. And this is a pretty gourmet version. The piece of fish is very good though. It's flaky and moist. It was very good. A little bit on the plain side for me, but I did enjoy that fish especially, and the puree of garbanzo beans. We are heading out of here and gonna try to take the metro to a museum, which is a little bit north in the northern part, I think, of Lisbon. And they shut at 6 p.m. It's about 4 p.m. now, so I think we'll be able to get there in time. We got off the metro at São Sebastião station, and it should be a pretty short walk from here, and this is a famous art museum. It's called the Castelo Gulbenkian Museum. The really good news is on Sunday that it's free entrance. So I just put my bag in the cloakroom and we're gonna walk around the museum. This museum has a significant collection of both Western and ancient, even Egyptian art. Portrait of an Old Man by Rembrandt from 1645. It was not too big of a museum, but they did have some very famous pieces of art, and I enjoyed the paintings, some of the paintings within the museum, but the garden alone outside of the museum is well worth a visit. I think for the museum, you definitely need to really appreciate and enjoy art. From the museum, we took the metro back to the Rocio Square area, and we're on our way to go eat dinner. We're walking through this awesome little side neighborhood, really narrow streets, art, and it's kind of like little Chinatown, little India, little Mozambique. We're looking for this one restaurant, which I think we have come up to. Right behind me, this gray building, there's no sign or anything, and so it's kind of a secret restaurant, but I think it's up there where the sheet is hanging from the balcony. Yeah. I hope we're not showing up to somebody's house for dinner tonight. Actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Oh, we came to the right restaurant, and this is a Chinese restaurant. There's no sign from the outside, and you just walk up the steps. It doesn't look, just looks like somebody's home in the neighborhood. And then you come up here, and it just opens up into it's full of long tables, and it definitely is a Chinese restaurant. I was honestly wanting to eat some traditional Portuguese food, but had some complications. Number one, my phone died with the internet, so I ran out of information, and then I literally searched through my entire list of restaurants, and every Portuguese traditional restaurant I wanted to try was closed on Sunday. So Ying and I decided to make the executive decision to have Chinese food for dinner, and both of us are ready for some Chinese food. The menu is only in Chinese and Portuguese, so I'm using my Spanish to sort of translate into Portuguese to translate into English. And so this one for sure, Ying and I are gonna get the sopa ácido picante. Okay, actually I'm doing really poor on my translation skills. I'm kind of just writing down some dishes. I'm kind of blindly choosing a couple of dishes. I'm gonna order the carne de gallina com camarão. I forgot to mention this before, but we got a great table right in front of the window. The cool breeze is coming through. You can see the Portuguese flag waving, some potted flowers, and I think Ying and I might have gotten a little bit excited that we're having Chinese food, and we ordered quite the dishes are huge in portion size. Ying just dished me a bowl of hot and sour soup. Oh, it's hot. Yeah. There's tofu in it, there are little pieces of mushroom, and I think egg drop as well. Also a plate of chow mein has just arrived. Egg, there's some vegetables in here. Let me put some of this on my plate. Also a side of chili sauce. Oh, it's been too long. The smokiness, that wok hei flavor, is fantastic. And then this was one of the dishes I think I guessed on, but it's chicken. There are shrimp in here. Is it chicken or is this the pork dish? I think it's chicken. And there are cucumber and peppers in here. Let me stick this on my rice. I gotta go for some of that more of that chili sauce. That's salty. I have to say, I had no idea the portions were going to be this big, because the menu, the prices are not high. The prices are very, very reasonable for Europe. But the dishes are huge, and it's only Ying and I eating. But I'm not complaining. This beef dish looks particularly awesome. A beef on the top, I think Sichuan pepper and chilies, and on the bottom here is cabbage, I think. This smells and looks unbelievable. Okay, I just gotta take a bite immediately. Oh, I think that's all Sichuan pepper. Oh yes, that is Sichuan pepper. It's garlicky. It's filled with like garlic oil and chili oil, tender slices of beef, lots and lots of garlic in there, cilantro. That's okay. I'm glad I wrote down this dish without knowing what it was and ordered it. This is the vegetable I ordered, which I just wrote down too, and I think it's jicama. It wouldn't have been my first choice had I known what it is. I would have liked more of a green leafy vegetable, but that's okay. That is jicama, but it does have a really wonderful smoky flavor again. I had actually forgot all about these because they came last in like 5 minutes after all the rest of the food, but we also got the fried dumplings. Oh, and these look fantastic. Look at how big this plate is though, there's so many of them. A dip in vinegar, I think. Those are hot and fresh. Filled with minced meat. They're garlicky. They're crispy and oily. That's wonderful. Ying and I are stumbling down the staircase out of this restaurant. That meal absolutely hit the spot. That beef dish in particular was fantastic. What a wonderful little family-run restaurant. I think within this lovely little neighborhood, this is the perfect place to end today's vlog. Ying and I are walking back to the hotel from here. Well, thank you all very much for watching today's video. Please remember to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And also make sure you subscribe for lots more food and travel videos. And I will see you on the next video. Good night from Lisbon. I had already ended the vlog for today, but Ying and I are just leisurely strolling home. And I came across this place that I think I remember Anthony Bourdain having a drink here in one of his episodes that I watched a couple years back. I think it's a cherry liquor, and then you just walk in there. It's only takeaway, and then he pours you a little cup and puts in a berry at the bottom. Wow, that's strong. It's sweet and strong, and I think it is cherry. It does have like a fruity, sweet cherry taste to it. Yeah, and that is strong, but that is very good. This is a real legendary place though. This is really gonna be the conclusion for today's video. And yeah, I had no plans to stop there, but I just remember seeing it in Anthony Bourdain's Lisbon video. Cheers to everyone, and good night from Lisbon, Portugal.